Hey, good morning, everybody. I am on my way to downtown Chicago. Ooh. How do other people do it? So I'm heading downtown to a food innovation workshop convention. It's 2 days where people are talking about innovation in the food industry as a whole. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll hear some of what the leading companies and experts in the field think about different things like labeling, ingredients, packaging, GMO regulation. Except my company was one of the 3 sponsors of the event. We have a booth, and I'm the only person going from my company.
For how much I love food and food science, that was one boring innovation session. In 2013, a product I worked on was voted by Nielsen's as one of the top 10 most innovative products of the year. They should have just asked me to lead that seminar. Would have dropped some knowledge on them, some Snapchat knowledge. Finally home after a long day, but if anybody would like to learn more about what we did and talked about today, or kind of what I do, just shoot me a message and I'd love to chat. But that can get a little bit boring, so let's get back to chocolate. So tonight I'm going to talk about different chocolates, how they're formulated, what those percent cocos mean, and the difference between these. So I'm going to tell you basically the exact recipe for every single chocolate you've ever eaten. And there's only 5 ingredients for most. Milk and white chocolate are a slight exception because they have milk powders in them, so let's not worry about these. Oh boy. All right, we're going to start with a 72% chocolate, so that would put it at a semi-sweet, not quite a dark chocolate. And here are the ingredients. Couple quick things I want to point out. Unsweetened chocolate, cocoa butter. Another name for unsweetened chocolate is chocolate liquor, and that's the chocolate stuff that's pressed out of the cocoa bean that's super bitter. Here's the weird part. 50% of chocolate liquor is cocoa butter. With me? 50% cocoa butter. And we all learned last night that cocoa butter is a fat that needs to be tempered. Cocoa butter is fat. Now, want to see the trick how I know every recipe to every chocolate just by looking at it? So here we have our solid chocolate bar with a nice temper on it, huh? Look how shiny. Here they're telling us 72% of this total thing is made from cocoa. All right, people, get ready for some math. Chocolate liquor and cocoa butter have to add up to 72%. So here's the order of the ingredients on the ingredient deck. Liquor at 70 plus butter at 2% equals 72, which is what we need. Why I'm saying 2% is liquor is 50% cocoa butter, so cocoa butter is really expensive. Not quite, but almost twice the price. And the rest are kind of standard numbers. So I just kind of wanted you to see when you eat a dark chocolate bar, you're eating 35% fat and 27% sugar. Would you have guessed when you first looked at this that a quarter to a third of this whole bar is made of fat? That's like 2 whole squares of fat. So here's what I think is cool so now we've learned that the percent cocoa is the percentage of chocolate liquor and cocoa butter added together. And because cocoa butter is like twice the price of chocolate liquor, they barely will use any, and pretty much that number is your chocolate liquor number. Chocolate liquor is what makes your chocolate bar taste chocolatey, but gives it that strong bitterness. So the higher the number, the more liquor is used, the more bitter it tastes. We could use cocoa butter to go towards that total percent and get the number and make a less bitter tasting bar, but that costs more money, so not going to do it. Not going to do it. Let's check that temper one more time. That was good. I feel like I've been talking just way too much, so I'm going to show you guys how to make your own chocolate fondue, or chocolate that you can freeze and put on or in your ice cream. Step 1, break up chocolate into small pieces. I always recommend vegetable oil or peanut oil. Olive oil gives it a weird flavor, but kind of any bland, neutral tasting oil. If you want to make a ganache, you add a little bit. If you want to make more of like an ice cream coating, you make a lot. You add a lot. Now, how many of you, like me, have burned chocolate in the microwave? Here's the trick. Only 30 seconds at a time, then stir. It doesn't matter how solid your chocolate is, every 30 seconds you gotta stir it, no matter what. So now that we've completely melted it, you can see it's nice and runny, but not too thin. You could let this sit out at room temperature and it would not solidify, so you could use it kind of like a fondue to dip pretzels or other cookies in. Or you can thin it out and make it real liquidy, and now you have a homemade magic shell made from real chocolate that actually tastes good. So I'm going to put them in my freezer, the liquidy one, the little thicker one, in a bar, and later tonight we'll check on them.